On our Facebook. Okay, here we go. Okay. Hey, hello. What's going on, Revolution partners? If you're watching this on replay, put hashtag replay. So we know that you were here. If you're watching this live, share this into the Revolution Partners group. And I'm excited to be here with you all today. I hope I can see the comments today. So forgive me, I got these different things that are going on. But today I have a very important message for each and every single one of us, which is this, is if you could be a part of a Google, an Apple, an Amway in the very beginning, if you could have had that opportunity to be one of the pioneers in a multi-billion-dollar venture, who here would love to be a part of something like that? Put me in the comments below if you would agree with that. I see Loretta here. I see Jane here. Congrats, Jane, on going 10-2. Share this into the partners group and everything. But I think we all would love to be pioneers. Like I think about, I don't know if you know the stories of janitors being involved in Google. And because they were there at the right place at the right time, they ended up being multi-millionaires because they were able to grow with the company, right? And do you realize right now in Partner Co, right now in the Revolution team, we all are pioneers. We're part of a company that even though we have decades of experience with their amazing products, history with their products, our comp plan and everything, we have a renewed opportunity. Renew, did you get that? Hint, hint, wink, wink. Who's excited about Renew, by the way? But we have a renewed opportunity where we're only a year and a half old, where no one knows about Partner Co, where no one knows, even though the drops are going somewhat viral in your city, in your town, I'd be willing to bet that your neighbors probably haven't heard about the products yet. They haven't heard about Partner Co yet. We are a unique window of opportunity in the next couple of years where we all have an opportunity to be the pioneers. And I think we all want the reward of a pioneer. What does that look like for you? Cindy McKnight did an incredible live on Monday talking about who you're doing this for, your family, your kids, your grandkids, your spouse, whoever it is that you're doing it for. You can accomplish all those dreams and goals and hopes and desires in Partner Co. Every single one of us can. You have access to the same systems, the tools, the machines, the everything. You are in the #1 team on the planet. But if we don't know how to overcome the challenges as a pioneer, if we're not equipped and prepared to handle what is bound to come, my fear for you is that you'll miss the opportunity and you'll look back and you'll be like, man, if only I took advantage. If only I was prepared. Because I see everyone else prospering, but why not me? Well, friend, today my goal is that if you're hearing this, that you're not that person that lives life in regret, but you're the other one that's experienced a reward that is due to you. I believe God's put you here for a very specific reason, for a very specific season. I believe that He wouldn't give us a dream in our heart if it's not capable of being accomplished. But there are things that we need to grow in, and there's things that we need to be expectant for to be able to take on and to receive the reward. So if you're with me in this, I'm about to drop this here, type in the chat, I am with you. I am with you. We're going to talk about the challenges of being a pioneer. The pro of being a pioneer is that it's kind of exciting. There's a lot of different things going on. You get to be a part of many first. But I got to be real with this. Being a pioneer is not all rainbows and butterflies, is it, Janet? Lindsay knows this super well. Being a pioneer means it's going to get kind of messy. What does that look like? Sometimes you're looking at a report in the back office and it's not exactly right. Sometimes you're calling customer support and you're not exactly getting through. Sometimes you're getting an answer that you're not looking for. Sometimes you're going to be dealing with new things like comp plan differences. And it's like learning a foreign language. Does anyone else feel like when you ask about the comp plan, it's almost calculus sometimes? There's a lot of stuff. Things that were promised might not happen. Things growing so fast, we might forget on some things. Who here knows that as a pioneer, it's kind of messy. It's kind of crazy sometimes. And it's normal. That's how it is. Imagine Google when they were first launching. Do you think it was perfect? Do you think all their systems work? Let's use SpaceX. Does anyone here follow Elon Musk? He's taking us to Mars, right? SpaceX, amazing company. Elon, he's awesome. But if you recall them figuring out how to pioneer us getting to Mars, he had multiple rockets blow up on him and actually deaths happen in his care. Do you think that was a little bit messy? So the reality, revolution partners, is that you're going to experience mess. You're going to experience trials. Things are not going to be perfect. But if you know how to grapple with these in the right way, you're going to be like the Elon. Who here would love to trade the income and the net worth of Elon? He's got stuff going on. We all got stuff going on, but dude's rolling. Dude's doing well, right? He's got some cool influence, right? As a pioneer, I want to challenge you today in a couple of areas on this. Okay, here's some mindsates that'll serve you. Here's some mindsates that'll help you go through the mess. Number one, don't be surprised when there's challenge. Like anticipate it, right, Cindy? Like anticipate that it's going to happen. I remember when I was new to business and I was not used to challenge. I was not used to struggle. I thought things were kind of just supposed to be. I'm a part of an entitled generation, I suppose. I'm able to speak on my behalf. But I felt like things were just supposed to be given to me, right? Like, you know, here I am. Where's my silver spoon? Like that was kind of my mindset on things. And I remember when I dealt with challenges in my business, things didn't go perfect. At first, my attitude was kind of this entitled brat saying like, why did I not get this fixed? I would complain. I would blame. I would point the finger. I'd be like, they should have figured this out. I talked to my uplines. I talked to my, this is even talking to my downline, complaining. And I'm like, man, they should have figured this out. Man, they should have got this better. If only this. Why didn't they fix this? And while that's all true, who here knows that that response will not lead you to the reward of being a pioneer? They say you should never jump down. You should only jump up. Right? So you don't want to kill yourself in these. But then I realized that in order to be a pioneer, that means challenge will come. So I should instead of being surprised by it, I should anticipate it. Let me give you the solution. This is what strong leaders as pioneers, this is what a Cindy and Lindsay did super well. They came into this mix and they saw all the problems for sure. For sure. But you know what they decided to do? They switched an attitude on this. Instead of being scared and bogged down by the challenge, they got excited about it. Leaders, pioneers, get excited by the challenge. They get excited by the problem. They get excited by the mess. Why? Because if you see a problem and you're willing to confront it to solve the problem, guess what? Entrepreneurs get paid to solve problems. So if there's no problems anymore, you're not going to be making much. So here's the attitude shift. When you see the problem, get excited. Okay, type in the chat, I'm excited. Like instead of me complaining about the problem, let me now be excited to have the problem. Because now this gives the leader, this gives the pioneer the opportunity to step up to the challenge and say, how do we figure this out? How do we figure this out? Danielle Singh has absolutely been stepping up. I love what she did. And this is not just a Cindy and Lindsay thing. Don't you all know every single one of us have capacities to be leaders? Every single one of us have a capacity to be problem solvers. I saw this in the Revolution Partners group. I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, Danielle, in this, I'm assuming she saw what was going on and she said, you know what? There's this whole road to PXP. There's this map to manager. Like there's a lot of stuff going on and maybe it's confusing. Maybe there's maybe there's teammates that are getting lost in all the details. So I'm sure Danielle said, instead of complaining about the problem, let me go solve it. She whipped up this flyer. She put together this post and said, let me organize this. Let me put it all together. And I bet this can serve somebody. Danielle stepped up as a leader. Danielle solved the problem. And guess what? That's why she's a vice president. That's why she's I mean, Danielle's going to be an officer and above at PXP. I already know. I already know. Revolution Partners, are you willing to step up to the challenges and the problem and be the one that solves it? At least not be the one to fan the flame. Cindy McKnight says, money in the mess. She said that in the beginning. Absolutely. Okay. So number one is to switch your attitude when you can see the problem from one of fear and complaining to one of excitement. Dive into it. This is when you have the opportunity of being on the radar of people that you want to work with. You know, I love problems. Problems allow you to step up and to stand out. Problems allow you to start making amazing connections. You know, as Partner Co, this is what I'm thinking. This is my game. Let me know if you would resonate with this. I want to be on the winning team. Who here knows that Partner Co is going to be the #1 company in the world, on the planet, in direct sales, right? Put Partner Co is #1 in the chat if you agree with that. This is a company with a 50, 100-year vision. This is a company that's being ran like a Fortune 500 company. This is a company that is doing things so different in our entire industry that absolutely needs it. So, you know what I think selfishly, this is how I'm playing the game. I want to get as close to the fire as possible. I want to build all the right connections possible. I want a seat at the table. I want to be the one that when they look towards a field, they're like, I want them to look at me. And I hope you're putting yourself into this, right? I want them to look at you saying, this is the person that's the go-to person. You know how to become that person? Be the one to stand up and say, I'm going to figure out how to solve the problem. Don't add to the mess, add to the solution. But it takes an attitude to figure that out. Okay. So number one, shift that attitude. All right. Number two, this is something that's helped serve me, and I think it's going to help your teams. It's going to help your leadership a lot. Is I always have an attitude of gratitude. I always have an attitude of gratitude. All right. Put in the chat the word gratitude. I describe gratitude as God's frequency. If you want to track the biggest blessings in your life, if you want to have the most incredible team, if you want to have the most amazing customers and the amazing life, gratitude is so important. One thing as a pioneer, that as you go through challenges and you go through struggles, you're going to go through issues where you look at the back office sometimes and it does not reflect correctly, for example. You're going to have someone that you thought got promoted, but whoops, they didn't. Things happen. And you know where the average person, what the average person does is they respond in an entitled manner. I'm just being real today, okay? Because this is what I've seen. This team's different though, aren't you? But I'm just addressing the elephant in the room. The average partner responds in these situations with an entitled attitude. They should have known better. Why are they doing this? Man, they should have got this down. As pioneers, I think it's important to give each other grace. Your leaders grace, your partners grace, your teammates grace, partner co grace. And something that I've realized, if I want to get close to the fire, I want to be the person that people want to work with. Right? Let me just talk selfishly. Like, this is like a competitive advantage thing. I want to be the likable one. Right? Leaders, pioneers do need to solve problems. They do need to address and confront things, but we can do it in a likable way. We can do it in a grateful way. Who here has ever tried helping somebody and that person just had an ungrateful attitude towards you? You're like, sis, you came up to me with these problems. You asked me for help. And why are you trying to make this so hard on me? It's like, has that ever happened to you? You're like, oh my gosh. You might help them, but you don't want to continue to help them. So something that I've noticed that strong leaders do, Cindy's saying in the chat, Cindy's so good at this. So many of you are good at this, is that when we're dealing with problems, we also have a grateful and a gracious attitude about it. So what I think is this. I talk to Katie Holt Larson a lot. She's an incredible chief impact officer in Partner Co. She has changed the game. She's one of the main reasons why we have this whole map to manager, why we have 10 and 2. She allowed these things to actually happen, right? So when I'm talking with them, even though she's an executive in the company, even though it's in her job to support me, right? Like, that's literally her job description. Even though she's supposed to do things for us, I always take any support as a privilege and not a right. Okay? Type that in the chat if you're with me. Support is a privilege, not a right. Support is a privilege and not a right. I want to earn this. I want to always approach it with like, hey, I want you to be willing to support me again. So I'm always giving grace. I'm always giving the benefit of the doubt to my leaders. I'm always knowing that they're doing the best that they can. Katie Holt Larson is busy. She was just in Japan. She's in Korea. She's dealing with the world. She's also dealing with my problems. So, like, I understand the whole weight of the world is on her shoulders. Your leaders are going through a lot. Your partners are going through a lot, whether it's business or life. Hey, I'm sure we can all agree. You got stuff going on in your life. This is summertime. Kids are on vacation. You got family trips. You got obligations. You're busy. We're all got stuff going on. No one is perfect. So when I'm working with other people and I'm going through the mess and I'm pioneering this, and I have the opportunity to work with people, consult with people that could potentially help me get me to where I want to go to, I'm always grateful. I'm always gracious. I give them the benefit of the doubt. Hey, they told me they were going to respond to me at this time with this answer. They didn't. Man, what's up with them? No, I'm like, things got busy. So I'm going to send a polite follow-up message. I'm not going to be annoying about it. I'm just very nice about it. Hey, Katie, I know we're talking about this. I was wondering if you had an update. Right? I want to be that person that when, let's be real here. Who here is someone that when you see, you don't have to name them, and there's no one here, right? But you see the notification pop up on your phone that so-and-so messaged you. And when you see that name, you get this anxious reflex when it comes in. Can you think of somebody? Don't put their name in the chat. We love them. We've released forgiveness, all that. But we all got them. We're like, oh, man. Oh. Let me pray about this before I answer this, right? Don't be that person. Be the one where when your name pops up on their notification on their phone, be the one where they're like, I can't wait to answer this person. I love dealing with this person. because whenever they bring a problem, they're also bringing solutions, right? Whenever, Cindy put it well, bring not just the problem, bring the solution. John Maxwell, he's a legendary leadership guru. This will be my third point, okay, on what you actually do. John Maxwell trained many, many leaders around the world. In his organizations, he trained his leadership this. He trained them to leaders. He said that if you're going to bring a problem to the table, I will not answer you unless you give me 3 potential solutions to the problem. So literally, one of his partners would come to him and be like, John, this is business. What do we do? John would be like, did he bring me solutions? No. Well, wait until you bring me solutions and then let's talk about this. As a pioneer, you want to be excited about the problem. You want to approach things and work with other people in a grateful and a gracious way. But you also want to bring solutions to the table, not just problems. We all don't like it when somebody comes to you and they just dump a problem on you in an ungrateful way. But we do love the person that brings up a problem, but they also bring up a solution. You know what this does? Is this brings the ball back into your court. This gives you the responsibility. This gives the leadership back onto you. Remember, who else is going to feed your kids and your grandkids? It's not going to be your upline. It's not going to be Partner Co. Well, it comes through them, yes, but it's going to be how you specifically, as a leader, as a pioneer, confront these problems and solve them. Network marketing is the fairest compensation plan, fairest pay in the world. There ain't no entitlement. There is no seniority here. It's purely based on the value that you can bring, the leadership that you can bring. So if you change your ability to solve problems by instead of, retune this, think, instead of only bringing a problem to the table, let me also bring some solutions so we can work on the solution together. Otherwise, you're kind of we're expecting someone else to solve the problem for us, and they will. But if we approach it that way, you know what happens is it removes the reward from you. The entrepreneur that solves the most problems is the one that's going to make the most money. So don't give away your reward. Don't let go. Be the one to be like, no, I'm going to be the one to figure out this solution, but I'm going to seek advice and counsel. I'm going to go to my mentors and coaches. I'm going to bring up the problems that I see, and then I'm going to give suggestions. So what I loved, I'll just end it with a story. I saw this exemplified with Cindy and Lindsay so well. When we went out to Puerto Rico together, I have never seen, and they were not even on board yet, right? Like they didn't partner yet. They were looking at this 6 months ago, not even that long ago. They were looking at this whole thing. They saw the mess. They saw the reward. They saw the opportunity. And they sat down with Darren and John and Katie were in this meeting. We're out in Puerto Rico. And they proposed, they highlighted the problems that they saw. They saw that Partner Co was amazing, but there needed to be simple duplicatable systems for the mom with 4 kids, with a toddler at her feet and one attached to her hip. They saw that there was needs for systems and frameworks to be able to help that person to be able to win big with what was happening here. They saw the potential. And what they did is they presented, literally they had a presentation for John and Darren for solutions. They didn't make demands. They didn't have expectations. They did it with grace and gratitude. They knew that John and Darren didn't need them. Even though Cindy and Lindsay did so much before in their career, they didn't hang up on their laurels. They didn't say, well, back in the day, look at what we did. They were super humble. They were super grateful. And they labeled out the solutions in front of John, Darren, and Katie. And at the very end, I know they were surprised, but John and Darren and Katie, with the proposals that they gave, were just like, let's do it. Remember that, Cindy? It was like literally like they didn't have to think about it. It was like, of course, let's do this. And why is that the case? Well, John and Darren and Kate, they're awesome, of course. They're amazing leaders, but also it's because Cindy and Lindsay approached the situation as pioneers in the wise way. They were excited about the problem. They knew the money was in the mess. They were grateful and gracious. They knew that support was a privilege and not a right. And they proposed multiple solutions. They solved problems for the company. So John and Darren look at that, they're like, wow, this is exactly what we've been thinking about. Like, thanks for even coming up with an idea. And you know what they did? They brought it to the table and we're working on solutions together. That's how you're always going to get a say, you're going to get a yes. That's how people are going to join you. That's why you're going to build your influence. And to this day, they still do the same thing. And the many leaders in this team that are rising fast, this is what they do. What Cindy and Lindsay exemplified, you can adopt as well too. You don't have to have done $50 million of sales in your previous company. You could be brand new, have never done network marketing before. Man, if this is your first venture, by the way, wow, you're in a great place. It doesn't matter what you've done in the past. Every single one of us as a pioneer has this opportunity to make the shift and say, you know what? I'm going to adopt the right pioneering attitude. I see what PartnerCo is going to become. I see that the Revolution team is doing something different. I see us rising to number one. Who here knows that we're going to be the number one team in the world? We're rapidly getting there. But we want you at the table. We want you to rise up with us. And you can. It's in your absolute control if you make these little subtle shifts that most people don't do. So if you're willing to be that pioneer, if you're willing to approach these challenges with excitement, if you're willing to approach this with gratitude and some grace, if you're willing to propose solutions and not only just the problem, let us know in the chat. Put in the chat, I am a pioneer. I am a pioneer. And there's no reason by PXP why you will not be 3 titles and above. There's no reason why you won't be walking the stage as a vice president, an officer, a senior officer, a chairperson, whatever it is that you're going to be. And there's no reason why you're not going to have the most incredible lifetime opportunity. And you're going to look back years from now, where your kids and your grandkids are going to look back and be like, look at what mommy did. Look at what grandma did. Look at what auntie did. Can I be like you? You're truly building something. You're doing things now that will have a multi-generational impact and wealth. But if and only if we decide to adjust and adapt this attitude of a true pioneer. All right, team. We so love you. Take advantage, by the way. There is an Add to the Machine challenge right now. We have Renew that's coming up. I hope you're excited for this. Win all the stuff. I hope you're running for this. This is coming out of your leaders' pockets. This is what I tell the team all the time. I tell them, if people are throwing money, take it. Take it all. I hope people are opting into this. I hope people are running for this. Like, I hope people are like, that's all mine, like a friendly competition. June 17th, of course, is our pre-launch of this. And just thank you, every single one of you. It's an honor to partner with you. We're going to be doing some amazing things together. You just make this so fun. On that, hey, tag any teammates that weren't on this. Be sure to get this message to them. Have a great